let's play some trivia. Chris, what cigar manufacturer was founded in 1895 and has roots in Cleveland, Ohio?
J.C. Newman.
That is correct. Second question.
Yeah.
Which cigar manufacturer still produces cigars in their 112-year-old factory in Tampa, Florida?
J.C. Newman.
Correct again.
Yep.
All right, last one.
Okay.
Can you go 3 for 3?
Probably.
Who are the creators of the Diamond Crown, Brick House, and the American Cigar?
J.C. Newman.
That is right. Gosh, you know what? They say you look dumb, but you're pretty smart.
Trivia is my thing.
I like it. To explore everything J.C. Newman has to offer and a chance to win a free Diamond Crown whiskey set, visit jcnewman.com/hot ticket. The whiskey set includes 2 Diamond Crown Whiskey Rocks glasses, whiskey rocks, and a set of tongs. All the hardware you need for a perfect drink. Again, enter a chance to win by visiting www.jcnewman.com/hot ticket.
I don't get it. Why are you
Dude.
sucking on him?
He's got the juiciest.
The lollipop sucks his cigars, and I don't understand why.
It's really off-putting.
When he posted the photo
it's
the
blah.
La Patissier, somehow how good of a cigar it was by
Yeah.
John and them
Yeah.
and Mike, like, I was like, why is the top so wet?
They're so drooly. Yeah, oh God, he slobbers like an animal. It's really gross. Hey, you're holding up a rival. Yeah. All right. So to get started in the episode, want to put this out there. A lot of people, I've gotten so many messages of people like asking questions about all the, stuff we're doing with the knockout and with the rival and the comeback. And I've put out there like, hey, Trilogy packs are coming, tons of questions, and couldn't really say anything up until this point, really.
Yeah.
Not that I couldn't say anything, but there wasn't like there's no place to direct anyone to, but there is now. So right here, as you'll see, this is the Trilogy pack, which comes in this tube, which is really cool. In the Trilogy pack, there's 2 knockouts, which is the original release back from 2021. So that's coming back 2022. So these already been on the market before. And then there's the Rival, which is the second iteration. It's a Connecticut. It's a Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan Honduran fillers. And then there's the Comeback, which is a Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan Honduran fillers. The original Knockout is, what's the wrapper type?
Nick Puro.
I think it's a Nicaraguan Puro. So Nicaraguan binder. There's no Honduran fillers, Nicaraguan fillers. So there's 2 knockouts in this Trilogy pack. There's 2 or 3 rivals, and then there's 3 comebacks. So this is what you get at a price point of $69. So I'm telling you, if you smoke these cigars, you know that's a fucking good deal because these things are amazing. So they come in these packs. They are on sale now. You can go to cigaryard.com. I'll actually have a link right here below to where you can go and you can check out what's available. We're doing a pre-release now. So as this episode comes out, when you listen to this episode in a couple days, these will start shipping. You can buy them pre-release right now. They'll start shipping on 4/20. So they're shipping on 4/20 and they're $69 each.
You think that was intentional?
It may or may not have been intentional, but really excited about this. I really appreciate. So it's really cool because there is some fanfare around this. So for, a lot of people are like, oh, so many cigars in the market. When you come on the cigar, blah, blah, blah.
You're
for
just another brand fuddy-duddy just putting your name on a cigar.
Yeah.
And that may be true.
Yeah, that is not inaccurate. But we've spent, this project alone, we've spent like the last 6 months on. And the first one, we'd spent considerable amount of time. So getting this all together it's been some work collectively between Rodriguez Cigars, who blended my cigar pack, who has been incredibly instrumental, not only in the distribution part of this, but getting everything set up and working with us on getting all the stuff organized. putting in these cool little fucking tubes, which I think is such a cool way to store cigars and ship. Why this has got to be a thing going forward.
It's got such a nice feel to it.
This has to be like a new way to ship cigar. I really like it. And it seals up quite nice. If you look at it takes quite a bit of pressure for me to get this off there. And then of course there's your Boveda pack smacked in the top just to make sure that it maintains humidity. And I'm telling you, these are really, it's a tight seal on here. These are really cool. Really excited to have these out. I greatly appreciate the folks that have smoked already, have smoked the knockout from last year and have smoked it again this year because it's come out in the My Cigar Pack subscription pack. So if you are a subscriber, you have already received 2 of these. You received the original knockout and the rival, which is the Connecticut. And of course, those who have bought and purchased these last year, we appreciate it as well. So a lot of people ask me, how do we get the knockout in like a 5-pack again or in singles? And the answer is you can't. We grossly underestimated how many of these we're going to sell through. So we had to, everything that's outside of the original subscription packs, which are already sold out, and that isn't in the Trilogy packs, there's no more available. So to get the knockout itself, you have to buy this Trilogy pack. I'm telling you, it's worth it. You get 9 cigars for $69. And I'm telling you right now, it could not be more worth it. Like these aren't just like, oh, let's throw some fucking tobacco together and see what happens. They are legit fucking good cigars. I promise you. We're not going to put out fucking garbage. That's not our style. So thanks for everybody who has asked questions, who's inquired. Those of you who have already purchased and smoked, again, these are available for pre-order now, and the link is below. So make sure you get your hands on these. I anticipate these are going to go pretty fast. So eat your heart out, Pravada. There we go.
I've got a fun idea. What do you call a group of people all smoking a knockout or a rival or a comeback? You call it a street fight. What I'm thinking is if you post photos, I like these call outs like
the street fighters.
Like, if you post photos of you and your friends smoking any one of these 3 cigars with friends at a lounge or whatever, hashtag hot ticket, hashtag street fight. Would love to see your photos.
Yeah, for sure. I will say this. So when people buy these Trilogy packs, obviously you're going to be able to smoke all 3. We're going to actually put out a survey on the My Cigar Pack website. It actually may go on Cigar Yard for people to vote which ones are their favorite, because I am insanely curious. I have a feeling I know which way it's going to go for a myriad of reasons.
I think so too.
But I'm hoping to be kind of shocked and surprised. So we will put out a survey for anybody who buys these and receives them. You'll get a link to which you can provide your feedback and survey form, which one was your favorite, because the whole reality is that we brought 3 out for the intentionality of these 3 to compete with one another. That's the whole reason for the branding, the whole reason for the name. So there you have it. I'm going to set these right here so anyone who's late to the episode can see it. Also, because this is an important day, because of this, cheers.
Oh, there's an important day? What is today?
It's Thursday.
Is it Easter? Oh.
No, but it's very rare that on the show I pull out any of like my good stuff. So here is the Russell's. Oh. This is the Private Barrel Select. Russell's is Wild Turkey. It's one of my favorite brands for bourbon. I was lucky to snag this. Boy, this was kind of hard to find.
Oh my God.
Glad I found it. It's a really good bourbon. So,
Did our friend Russell die? Are we commemorating him?
Dude, Russell is old as shit.
Yeah.
Jim Russell, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He's the guy that owns Wild Turkey.
Did he die?
He was no.
Oh,
he will be soon though. He's old as shit. I'm just kidding. I hope he doesn't. But he's always at the distillery. He was there the day that we were there doing the tour. He's like always there.
Do you think he just sips all day?
Yeah, I think he literally drinks bourbon every night.
Fuck.
Him and his wife drink bourbon every night.
Actually,
every single night. It's like a routine.
That sounds pretty pleasurable, actually.
It's cool. So they have the Wild Turkey honey, which I'm not a huge like flavor bourbon fan. But the honey is really good. And the reason Russell created the honey was because his wife wouldn't drink traditional bourbons with him. So he created something that he felt his wife would like. So he spent a ton of time coming up with the honey recipe. It was like 20 years ago when it released. And that's what his wife drinks with him every night.
But isn't that what Lauren likes?
Yeah,
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. The wild turkey honey is.
That's what I was getting at.
It's exceptional for like a flavor.
It was
bourbon.
sweet, but it was good.
It's good on the rocks, like one giant rock. Oh,
it kind of
so good.
seems like cinnamony honey, if I can recollect.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's it's pretty viscous. It's thicker.
Yeah.
It's not thin at all. It's
quite pleasurable.
It's not like drinking syrup, but it's definitely
and
it's a little bit more thick.
It's still effective at cleaning wounds.
Yeah, it is, but with a little sweetness to it.
Could you imagine being stranded on an island with a bottle of bourbon or whiskey and you get a severe cut that gets infected and you're like, how am I going to clean this? And you're sitting looking at your prized possession whiskey.
And you got to pour it on
and you're like, oh, fuck.
I would just drink until I died and then just be over.
Could you imagine passing on the beach and the tide takes you?
There's a would you rather. Oh, speaking of, you remember the would you rather question from last week, which was, would you rather shit your pants in private every single day or once in public every year?
Mm-hmm.
I picked public once a year. You said every day. I have to admit something.
You did it in public?
No.
And you regret it?
I didn't do it in public. But last night I had a little whoopsies. Little whoopsie daisies.
Mm-hmm.
I was outside. It was late. I played hockey last night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like midnight and I was outside smoking. And I'd eaten late. And I made some like stir fry. Mm-hmm. Just some vegetables, some steak and some rice.
Oh no.
Trying to eat healthy. And I ate that before I went outside. Went outside with the dogs. It's late. I mean, literally, it actually probably was after midnight.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I forget what I was smoking, but I didn't have that much of it left. And I'm smoking and I just go.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh,
so
that's
where you could feel the elevation drop in your stomach. You're like,
I was like, I literally, and in my head, I'm going, well, that was uncomfortable. And then I'm sitting there and Carlisle and Quincy are playing. They're running around. And I took another puff and it was just like, I was like, what the fuck? And so I'm like, no, I'm almost done. Like, I'll be fine. Like, I am really good at controlling because I have quite the digestive system. I've been used to it for a long period of time.
Sure. You have Crohn's.
Doesn't really sneak up on me anymore. And I was sitting there and I take another puff of the cigar and dude, this one was like, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Like Steve Carell and Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
When he's like,
pretty much. That's what my stomach was doing. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, because there really isn't a sneak attack on my digestive system anymore, I'm just going to let a Ripper Magoo go.
Oh.
And
it's a bad choice.
Yep. I immediately regretted my decision. Now, let me ask you this question.
I have questions.
I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
And you may have already, this may be a question that you asked. Were you going to ask me, did you finish the cigar?
No.
Oh, I did.
You sat in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I shit my britches and spent another 15 minutes.
This asks me to my question, which is a qualifier to decide whether or not it was worth it to sit there and still finish your cigar. Now, you need to be very clear with me. Did you just spray bottle or super soaker your goddamn underwear?
Spray bottle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could make that work.
You know what? It felt more like sweat than anything.
Okay, yeah. You can make that work.
Yeah. It wasn't like nothing like rolled down my pant leg.
Yeah.
It was one of those like as soon as it happened, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it wasn't like having
but then like immediately you clench up and then that's it.
It wasn't like having a water balloon go off in your underwear.
No. Now there are situations in which you clean up immediately. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was a little bit of just a little bit of like butt perspiration.
I don't know why. Just the thought of a fucking water balloon filled with shit exploding in your underwear. It's a fucked up visual.
But it could happen.
That like if I witnessed a grown human being shit himself at that level, I don't even look at you as an adult anymore. I look at you as a fucking helpless baby.
Complete reversion to childhood.
You're a helpless baby.
Yeah, now I will say this. You're like, hey, you left your phone in the bathroom. I'm not going to lie. That one was a close call.
Was it?
That was a close call. Yeah, I was smoking, and maybe it's the cigars. I was smoking a Davidoff Colorado Perfecto outside with the dogs before you came. And it's a small cigar, so I'm like, I could get through this in 30 minutes. Now, should it be 30 minutes? No, it should be a lot more than that. But I smoke cigars fast. Yeah. So I smoke in this Perfecto, and I was standing outside, and I was running with the dogs, and I went to take like a side step to like lunge at Carlisle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And it was as close to last night. I mean, dude, I almost had a twofer, which has never happened to me before, ever. Like, I pride myself that the last time I think I've like shit my pants was years ago. Yeah. Like, I can't even recall the last time that I had a little whoopsies.
Yeah.
This was strike 2 almost happened like an hour ago.
So let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do it in public?
If it was like that, yeah, because I could have easily concealed it.
There was no foulness.
No, not really. I sweat harder at the gym. Like, it's more uncomfortable after I leave the gym than it was that. It's just the idea that it's like my own human shit.
It just looked like looked like you had a melted M&M in your underwear.
It wasn't even brown. There was no brown.
Oh, it was all juice.
It was just juicy. You know what it looked like? It looked like a more opaque orange juice with the pulp.
Ew. Ew. The visual came immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, thank God I was in the comfort of my own house. Thank God it didn't happen. I blame it on what I ate because my stomach's been pretty upset today. I don't know if I don't think I undercooked that steak. Maybe I did. I don't know. I don't think I did. But it was I'm glad I was in the comfort of my own home. I'll put it that way. But would it have been a crucial issue had it happened in public? No, it wouldn't have. Yeah. I think there's degrees to the level of severity around taking a shit in public and or at home in your pants.
Yeah. I think you remember Dad's story when he got in the bad accident and like our aunts had to wipe his own ass.
Yeah.
Even though Dad was completely
But he didn't have to. Yeah. Made my aunt wipe his ass for months on end, even though he was dude, he had knee surgery. His wrists weren't broken.
We're sitting in the hospital lobby while our dad's going through his life crisis of having an early aneurysm corrected in his stomach, right? But for Dad, it was life and death, and I understand a certain piece of that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're all at the hospital there to support him. Then our aunts are there. Our Aunt Rhonda, who's been a huge help to Dad in the past. When he was in that accident, it was a really bad accident, almost died. Mm-hmm. And apparently our Aunt Bonnie was also a contributor of helping our father. We were too young, me and Cory. We were just too young. I think I remember helping Dad maybe once or twice.
I remember cutting up bananas and putting him in his Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
That was about the extent of the help that I think I gave to that whole ordeal.
I think helping him up and down off the couch was like pretty much the extent of our work with him.
Yeah.
But our Aunt Bonnie is sitting in the lobby telling us a story about, she's like, yeah, but none of you had to wipe fucking Butch's ass.
And that's exactly how she sounds.
And we're all looking at her and we're like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. And then we look at Rhonda and Rhonda's like, he went to the bathroom fine by himself when I was over there taking care of him. And the look on Bonnie's face.
Dad made Bonnie wipe his ass for like weeks.
And the fucking funniest part is we're sitting there laughing hysterically and Bonnie is pissed off.
She was so upset about that.
But at a certain point, she's so pissed off, she's turning bright red that she finally broke down and started laughing herself because she realized how fucking crazy that was.
I feel like it's just Dad's way of getting back.
Yeah.
For what? I don't know. But I think it's funny that Dad's fucking warped brain was like, you know what I can get away with? I can get away with my sister wiping my ass and I don't even need it. So I was going to say it was reconstructive knee surgery. Like,
yeah,
he was, for the majority of the time, he was capable of doing those things. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he suggested to her that he wasn't and that she was going to have to do it. It's so fucking
But
great.
think about how
It's one of the coolest things my dad's ever done.
But think about how
amazing.
shameless that is on Dad's part.
It's fucking great.
Like the fact that he's the type that would shit in public and not care because he's completely comfortable with having his own sisters wipe his ass.
Yeah. Dad wouldn't give a fuck. He would just be like, "Oh, I pooped myself."
Yep,
and that'd be it.
That's it.
Yeah, he'd be super. It would be a discreet thing, and he wouldn't be overly. He wouldn't be like overly aggressive about the situation. He'd just be like, "Oh, shit myself."
Yep.
And that would be it. Which, by the way, Dad is getting of the age where that's probably going to start happening. Yeah. Question is that would you wipe Dad's ass if he needed it?
I would.
Whew.
But
I'd hire someone. I'm not doing that.
But my deep sense of, even though I would help him and I wouldn't really think two things about it, part of my satirical comedic sarcasm
just leave him
has to come out in some form. So I feel like I'd be making fun of him the whole time. Even though I don't care.
Like, Dad, your taint's so soft. It's pretty gross, actually, when you think about it. I couldn't do it. I know there's a lot of people that have like a sense of obligation because they're your parents. And I know a lot of people's retort to the whole thing is gonna be like, well, they wiped your ass when you were a kid. That's because I was a child.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like children can't. First of all, there's major differences here. Two of the major differences I'm gonna point out are like children can't communicate, and they haven't been exposed to the functionality of being able to do those things themselves. It really is a helpless thing. I'm not saying it's not when you're older. The difference is when you're older, you have experiences and you have the ability to understand everything going on around you. A child doesn't. Mm-hmm. So a full-grown adult, it just seems icky. Like, there's nurses that do that for a living.
Yeah.
And that's the way I would go, is I would just pay someone to wipe Dad's ass.
It's like,
because first of all, that'd be enjoyable for Dad. It's not going to be enjoyable for his sons to wipe his butt.
I know it'd be embarrassing and it would be hard not to be embarrassed by such a circumstance, but I could just imagine my own self for a minute sitting in a bed and I had a dookie do. You know, I had a real bad time and I'm sitting there waiting and I'm sitting in my own shit for as long as I can think and stand
dookie do
until I finally press that call button. And then the nurse comes in and she's probably someone who, if I was younger, would be like, I would try to date you. And then she
that's fantastic.
She rolls me over.
I would try to date you.
And then she rolls me over and pulls down my pants while I sit there helplessly like a little baby. And she goes, "Oh, you made quite the mess, Mr. Allen." And I just feel like I'd be just struggling emotionally.
Yeah.
Coping with this idea that I'm a helpless adult.
You know what's weird is like, if that were a dog, you'd put him down.
Yeah.
But we don't feel that way about humans.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, if a human starts shitting themselves, there's literally things called depends that allows them to be functional in society while shitting themselves. If that was a dog, the dog's days are over.
Yeah.
That's it. But with humans, for whatever reason, we have some sort of sensitivity to it. And we're like, no, they need to live on. What kind of quality of life exists when you have to get your ass wiped by another human?
I mean,
now, and I don't mean that. So that happens with people who are like paraplegics.
Yeah.
If you have no arms, you lack the capability physically.
Like, I just imagine you having power of attorney over a parent, and like you go in there and you're like, oh, hey, and the nurse or the doctor, like, hey, I need to talk to you outside of the room real quick. And you're like, hold on, Dad. And he's getting his fucking shit panties wiped up, right? And then you go outside the room and you're sitting next to the door. And the doctor's like, so we're noticing like his quality of life is severely diminished. And it may be best to stop doing treatments to keep him alive. And then you're like, well, I don't know. And you're like, you think? The doctor's like, yeah, he's going downhill. You can see it. And then Dad and they're like, kill me. Kill me. And then you're like, I don't know. I think he's got a few days left or like a few months left or years. You know, it's just like, you're right. It's like, I feel like there's like a threshold. You reach this threshold and it's like, there's no reason to keep existing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like like you would do with your dog. It's like, well, you don't want them to suffer any longer.
Right.
Like, does our dad want to be?
There's a lot of humans that suffer in hospitals and hospice and nursing homes.
Stay there.
Yeah.
There's only a couple states, if not, I think maybe just one, where you can legally kill yourself.
I think they're passing bills in more states to allow that to occur. Yeah. Now I'll say this, and I remember this just as a treacherous part of my childhood. Our grandma, most of her existence in our childhood before she died, rest in peace.
A fucking hospital or nursing home.
She was always in a nursing home. And dude, I remember walking to those places, you can hear people like blood curdling scream. You just, hear people in rooms, you're like, and you're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, that's Mr. Hamilton again. He's going through his fits. Dude, people are screaming for like Jello and shit.
But then
there's random people butt ass naked just fucking rolling down the hallways.
People just sitting outside of the rooms in wheelchairs.
Yeah, some lady with fucking lipstick like on her mouth up to her fucking nose, and she's like, "Aren't I pretty?" And you're like, "What the fuck?"
Wait, this isn't a psych ward,
dude. It's what it's like though. It is like a psych ward. Is it not like a psych ward? Think about it.
I think you would go stir crazy.
The smells.
It's very odd.
Oh, it's a very clinical smell. You know what I mean?
Mixed with mothballs.
It's so gross.
I mean, is that what death smells like?
It just smells like Gold Bond and death. It's so bad.
Maybe that's what
isn't that weird how death has a smell? I think that's it. I think as you begin to erode, your soul begins to erode, it dissipates into a smell. There's an odor that comes out of your pores.
Perfect example. What happens when you leave raw chicken in your fridge for more than 7 days?
Yeah.
That soury.
Yeah, it is. It's sour.
The smell. Yeah. And you're like, and that's a meat that you don't want to eat.
Yeah, no. Definitely not.
So
it's just, I mean, it's just a slow rot.
If
really,
I start smelling like that, Cory,
yeah,
and you're still
it's time to go.
Sane,
time to go,
dude. I'm no longer edible. I'm useless. Just end it.
Now I could predict you're likely to outlive me.
You think?
Yeah, I'm gonna die young. I've been saying that for a while. I won't make it past probably 65.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so. That's why I'm just trying to live it up now. Just in case.
That's fair. That's
now, if I do and I live to be like 100, great.
Wow.
But I feel like 65 is about the cutoff point.
The motto is
about as far as I'm going to go, I think.
Sayings go is we're never promised tomorrow. So treat each day like it's your last.
Thank you, philosophy Chris.
You're welcome.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. This is going to be a fun episode.
So Cory done shit himself.
You would know. I would just immediately pause the episode and just go into elevator music. Oh, gotta go. No, so we were going to do a review today, but Chris forgot to do the review. I'm a little disappointed in him, but we'll do that next week. So today, which I already had a backup plan, we are going to do, and we haven't done this in a long time, we are going to do an overrated, underrated cigar brands. There's been, since the last time we've done it, there's been some cigar brands that we did not have a part of the overrated, underrated that we have now kind of inputted in here. So there's ones, I think I added 6 or 7 brands that have come onto the marketplace in the past like 6 months to a year. Make sure I got them all covered. So those have been added. We'll probably get through 4 or 5 of these today. I'd really, really like the Would You Rathers, and our audience loves them too because sometimes it gets a little hairy. They're a little controversial sometimes because people are like, that's my tribe. Don't fucking talk about my tribe like that. And they get all weird about it. You know, I should have added Pravada in here and see what kind of shit I could have stirred there.
Ooh. But are they a brand?
Oh, that's the real question.
I'm just, shots fired.
Just kidding. Seriously, they don't kill us. Weird culty people. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. Settle down. It's a fucking, do you know how many people just go hard at that shit? Like, you're talking shit about my dude? And I'm like, dude.
Hey. There's nothing like a Pravada.
We are jokes.
Dude, there's nothing like a Pravada in Nevada with a horchata, man.
That's true. Yeah, people kind of take it like the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. Like Chris Rock's telling jokes. We tell jokes. We're Chris Rock. And then they're all Will Smiths.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a fucking joke.
It's cool totally a fucking joke.
It's always a joke. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back at you guys just a minute with a fun, overrated, underrated. Hang tight.
You know, I'm getting to the point now, my age, my health, the fact that, you know, I've gotten all this social anxiety that I don't even want to leave my house anymore. The thing is, like, I still want to smoke cigars at home, but I sure as shit do not want to leave my home.
Yeah, well, you're perpetually sick, so there's
I'm
a
perpetually
societal
sick.
responsibility that you have as well.
I just wish there was like some way for me to like buy cigars without having to think about it.
I think I have the medicine for you. My cigar pack. Curated packs come straight to your door every single month.
Is it?
5-pack of cigars, specially handpicked for you. And you can also subscribe to the Factory Direct program and get cigars that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, as long as it covers the Omnicron variant, I'm good.
I heard they show up in hazmat suits.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that safety and protection are at top of mind.
That's
so
good.
you can visit My Cigar Pack, www.mycigarpack.com, just for all their options. Again, that's www.mycigarpack.com. All right, we are back. Here we go. I know, I wish we could smoke on the show. One of these days, I'll get my shed built whenever it gets passed by the HOA. And then we can do it in like a sweet fucking shed setup.
Did you know that our rivals were infused with bourbon? Russell's in particular. That's why these cigars are $110 a stick.
Even though the bottle of bourbon's like $60.
It doesn't matter.
All right, let's get into this. We're going to have a lot to cover. I'm sure we're going to have a lot to say. So I will preface this. There are some of these brands I am less familiar with.
Yeah, I feel like we might,
there may be ones where I'm just like, I don't know.
How about this? How about in those moments, we just take a moment to just look at their website and say overrated, underrated. We'll look at their lineup.
Based on this website.
Based on their lineup, we'll go like,
fucking garbage. All right, let's get into the first one. You ready?
Yep.
I love doing these. Let's go. Oh, sweet titties. Illusione. What can I say about Illusione? One of my favorite brands. So I think you already get an idea of where this is going to go. And here's why I like Illusione. One, I like that in a total portfolio, they have pretty much something for everybody. Mm-hmm. It's not that I like every one of their cigars, but I appreciate the fact that they do have enough representation in their lines that if you're a cigar smoker and you're serious about smoking cigars, there is something in their lineup that you're going to love. I will say this. Favorite cigars, One-Off, Epernay, the Singulare.
Oh, Singulare is
the Hot 10. What?
Yeah, how do you spell it?
What?
H-A-U-T.
Right. Is that what it is? Hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? And then what's the other one that I really like with the blue label? The Ultra is really good. Then you have like their Candela stuff, which Chris likes, and it's actually really good. If you were going to compare like the Fomorian, which I think is like the ultimate Candela, I would say that the Illusione is probably a hot second.
It's better than, yeah. Like, what is there? Like 6, 7 fucking
it's not,
Candelas
no
out
one
there
smokes them anymore.
worth smoking?
Yeah. So I think in totality, the Illusione lineup is so well diversed. Also, and I said this on the episode where we broke down the Epernay, their brand consistency, I fucking love so much.
Yeah.
You know it's an Illusione when you fucking see it. I think they've done such a good job over a period of time, and I think they've just let their product speak for itself. They're not like this huge marketing juggernaut or anything like that, but they make really good product and the product speaks for itself. And I feel like they're almost in the boutique world universally loved. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I haven't heard any one person go, that's a shit brand. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard it.
I can't think of one.
To me, Illusione, especially the pricing on some of their cigars. Now, there are the stuff that's a little bit more expensive.
There's the $15, and then they've got
like
one-offs,
you've got the one-off series,
Epernay, like which was like $30. I had that one. It came in a box. I think it was an Epernay.
It's probably not an Epernay.
What the fuck was it? It was $30. It came in a box. It was a Churchill.
Oh, maybe it was one of the new Epernay Vitolas. I think it may have been our Singulare.
Yeah.
There's a few like special edition stuff that's pretty expensive.
But it is
you have
definitely...
like the one-off series stuff is a little bit more pricey. But I'm telling you, you get great quality with their cigars, and their flavors and their cigars are unbelievable. Most of the stuff, I think maybe all of it's made at Aganorsa, and I've always said this, there's levels at Aganorsa. If I have $30,000, I can go to Aganorsa right now and have them blend me a cigar. It's probably not going to be top of the line. Illusione's had a relationship with Aganorsa long enough to where you can tell they get the premium stuff. Obviously, they understand, like Dion understands like the whole blending process. It's been ingrained in it for a very long time. Nothing but admiration and respect. And the fact that he kind of looks like an older Elvis is really cool. I like his chops. I think they've done such a good job as a brand. To me, in totality, in comparison to other boutique brands and big brands that exist out there, they're definitely underrated.
Yeah, I would say they're underrated too. But they do have a wide swath of varietal cigars for pretty much any body. And I find them to be the brand that has just a really nice middle of the road style of cigar. Like they're usually medium bodied cigars that really hit on anybody's palate.
Yeah.
You know, there's brands that really hit like really heavy with the bold cigars. You got Espinosa and others that are known to be like
the
that's
AJ
the
Fernandez's
brand
of the world. Yeah. They hit hard.
Roma Craft, like you think of nicotine is like, who's fucking gonna outdo?
Yeah, that is an interesting thing about Illusione. It's like I often get the question of, I'm new to cigars, what should I smoke? I would venture to say that what I like about Illusione is that I can take an Illusione cigar and recommend it to someone who is not as familiar with cigars, and I think they would like and appreciate it. And they would like say, hey, this is a really good cigar. It's not going to be overwhelming for them. It's probably something that's going to attach them more to the cigar world. And then even for the folks that smoke every single day that are quote unquote aficionados or experts and or high level enthusiasts of premium tobacco are also going to appreciate what Illusione does, which I think is cool. I think it's actually really unique for a brand to kind of hit on all levels and to have such a wide spectrum of love. I think that's really cool.
Yep.
Definitely an underrated brand for me.
Yep.
For sure. Even though they are popular. All right, moving on. Here we go.
Of course. Oh, never mind.
Oh, shit.
I was just joking about the name before that. And I was like, I know I've had one, but I can't really recall it.
De Croissant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had like 2 of their cigars.
And I was like, that's one of those ones where I was like, we're just going to check their website out.
What are they all about? We're just going to just skip them and move on and then just make it a point to smoke them. But
no! This one is intimate.
It actually landed on Davidoff. Oh, what can I say? What can I say? I smoked a Davidoff 45 minutes ago.
I guess we start with the answer first, and then we could give our supporting arguments. I feel like they're just right. Okay. I don't think they're overrated, and I don't think they're far from underrated. Yeah, I think they fit the space very well for what they do, and I think it's indisputable. And from a price point, they're not that unachievable.
Like depends on what you get.
You can get a $12, $13 Davidoff. Most of them land.
But you can also get a $100 Davidoff.
Yeah, but most of them you're going to find around that $15 to $20 range.
Yeah, depends on what it is. Like the Yamasa, the Nicaragua.
But that said, I mean, they're still accessible. Very large name. Yeah, they have such a niche way of presenting their brand to the rest of the world that is like so unique that it's hard to say they're underrated, overrated because they just hold their own space in the industry.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
So I think they're more than appropriate.
Yeah. So I have a sincere love for Davidoff. Davidoff is probably one of my favorite brands because the tobacco that they use and the way that they blend things that are very floral and aromatic.
Yes.
And to me, that's such a profound change up from most cigars that you smoke. So I find myself attaching to Davidoff cigars because of their uniqueness, and not just because it's unique. It's because I like the uniqueness. I love what they bring to the table in most of their cigars. And actually, I would say like core lineup stuff as far as the Yamasa, the Nicaragua, even some of the Colorado Clear is what I smoked earlier. Dude, that is the craziest fucking flavored cigar I've ever had, and I'm to this day obsessed with that cigar. It's one of my absolute favorites to smoke. You have the Millennium, you have the Anniversary, you've got the year of editions, you have special edition stuff that they come out, you have the chef stuff that they come out, which is hit or miss. This is what I'll say about Davidoff. Their core stuff, the things that they do really good, I think are outside the special edition, are really fucking awesome, especially for the price point. Some of the other stuff is a little fucking too weird for me, or it just doesn't hit. Like they'll come out with a special edition, something and be like, hey, it's $40, and then you buy it and you go, well, that was a subpar experience. I felt that way with some of the year ofs. Although most of the Euro stuff I really like. But Davidoff as a brand, I think, does such a good job of establishing themselves as a premium luxury cigar brand. They don't pretend to be anything else. It's like, we're not going to play in the space of value fucking cigars. They don't fit there. What they do really well, and they've done it really well for a long time. I think a lot of people say, okay, well, Davidoff's overrated because they're expensive. I don't know if anyone's taken notice to this, but most cigar brands are expensive now relative to what they were 5 years ago. There has been price increases across the board. It continues to inch up. Davidoff is really one of the only brands I haven't seen those kind of price increases with over a period of time in the last year or so. And maybe that's because they're already making a substantial amount on what they're producing and they don't feel the need to. I don't know. But I will say this. There are some cigars out there and there are brands out there I don't think play as well in that premium luxury space that are as expensive. And to me, not as good.
Not that I can think of.
Davidoff is they have so many good fucking cigars that are just wild, crazy flavors, tobacco grown in places that other people don't have access to. There's elements to their cigars that stand out. And especially if you're comparing other premium brands, like I love Padron. Fucking love Padron. I like Padron as much as I like Davidoff. I know that's crazy. Everyone's like, oh, Padron. I love Padron. I like Davidoff's more because of what the flavor representation is across the board. They fucking fit so well in that goddamn space. They're one of the best in that space. And I think they'll always be one of the best in that space. I would venture to say that Davidoff hasn't lost any momentum. I think they just continue to excel. I think people still really appreciate their cigars. And if you are a Davidoff fan, there's a reason you're a Davidoff fan.
Listen, I'm going to try to put this in a sensical analogy. But when you review and smoke such a wide variety of cigars from the same 7 regions of the world for several years on end, all of them start to feel as one cohesive thing.
Yeah, agreed. We talked about that a few episodes ago,
right?
Or last episode with Omar.
So when we get a hold of a cigar that we go, that is definitively something different, which, as you eloquently put, Davidoff is one of those. One of the most aromatic cigars you can buy.
Hands down. Hands down.
Crazy brand recognition. Great blends. When you become so ingrained with smoking such a wide variety of cigars, and then you start to notice the similarities between all of them, they all start to feel like commonplace, like you're just sitting at home, right? It's the norm.
Yeah.
But then you find cigars like some of the Davidoffs where it's like you're going to fucking Bermuda.
Going to a different place.
You're going to a fucking different goddamn place. So
it's a great way of putting it.
It's almost like having a vacation from what you're so used to.
Right.
So when we smoke some of these cigars, and it's not even just Davidoff, but there's other brands out there for sure as well. But it's like Davidoff has a few bangers, man, where it's like every time you smoke one, it's like, that's like having a fucking vacation from everything else I've smoked.
Dude, it changes everything when you smoke them. I'm serious when I say this. If you're smoking, Chris, you put that was probably the best I could have stated. There is a sense that things that you smoke that come from similar regions all start to kind of blend together. And there are certain aspects of those cigars that you can start to pick apart, right? Like, oh, this one I really like this thing about, this one I really like this thing about. But in totality, they really do kind of blend and meld together. We talk about the regions of Nicaragua, right? Like a lot of that stuff just kind of starts feeling the same a little bit, all those subtle differences. Davidoff takes it out of the subtle difference and completely fucking flips it on its head.
Yeah.
You smoke the cigar, you go, holy shit, that is so vastly different. It's the same thing that I think about when I smoke the Opus X. Say what you want about the Opus. The Opus is so vastly different in terms of the flavor characteristics of that cigar. It stands out on its own. That's what makes it so favorable. And that's my argument with Davidoff. It's what it makes it so favorable. I do agree with you that it's adequate because they play and they've done so well in the space that they've worked in for such a long period of time. They aren't cheap. Davidoff's, I would say, relatively speaking, everything across the board is more expensive than most of the stuff that you'll get. However, I do believe some of their best cigars are the ones that don't ever exceed $20.
Listen, Disneyland ain't cheap, but you sure as fuck want to go with your kids. That's what I'm saying about Davidoff. It's okay to go there once a year.
Yeah, it's Disneyland. Dude, I go there once a week.
fucking lay down the dollars.
I go to Davidoff land at least
and
once a
enjoy
week.
yourself at least once on a Davidoff.
Yeah, I'm absolutely obsessed with the brand. I have been for a while, and I've said this before. When I first smoked a Davidoff, I wasn't as into the cigar world as I am now. I was smoking frequently. I was smoking probably 2 or 3 times a week. But I had a Davidoff in Vegas, and I remember buying it. I was in Vegas for a trade show. I remember buying one for a customer because a customer of mine, we were hanging out with him, and he said, "Hey, do you guys smoke cigars?" I'm like, "As a matter of fact, I do." He goes, "Let's go pick up some cigars." There's a Davidoff. Davidoff has their own booths inside casinos, right? We're all used to the whole white humidor inlays that they have. It's the same thing, but it'll just be in a hallway at a casino, and there'll be just one person sitting there, right? And you go, and if you're paying for a Davidoff in Vegas, you're probably paying double what you would traditionally in like just a regular B&M or a humidor. And so a Davidoff Nicaragua is $40. And I'm going, fuck, $40. And I'm buying this for a customer, and I got to expense this shit. And then I got to explain to my boss why I bought a $40 cigar for 10 different people.
Hey, but you don't eat a steak for an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's about dinner. But so I bought it, and I go, and I remember smoking and go, God damn, this is really good. And I go, $40, who the fuck do they think they are? And they're just a fucking Vegas brand and blah, blah, blah. And then it all started to change for me once I got a little bit deeper in the industry, got a better understanding of Davidoff's position and their play across the board. Yeah. And there's things I don't like about the brand, don't get me wrong, but I would say overall, they're one of my favorites simply because of the way they produce cigars and what they output. Yeah. The flavors are unfucking... Dude, smoke the Colorado Claro if you've never had it, and tell me you've ever smoked a cigar that tastes like that. There is not a fucking cigar on the market that even fucking comes close to that flavor profile.
Dude, even the Yamasa, and you're like, oh.
The Yamasa is crazy.
Dude, there's some dankness to that cigar.
Dude, it's crazy. That cigar is so fucking good. The Nicaragua core line stuff, amazing. Shit that you've never fucking tasted before, you'll get in that Davidoff. I'm telling you, fucking lights out good. But I do think they're adequate based on a myriad of things. I knew that one was going to be long-winded because you know how I feel about that.
I'm just glad it wasn't De Croisier.
I would have been like, moving on. We got to move on. Here we go. That's number 3. Where do we land? Where do we land? Where do we land? Oh, we got some heavy hitters in this one. God damn. All right. Next up on the list is Oliva. Holy shit, this is another one I feel like could just be talked about a lot. The Oliva V Milanio. That's all I got to say. It's one of the best cigars I've ever had. There's a reason. Now, part of the reason I think it always makes top 25 is because they're wetting the beak a little bit of Cigar Aficionado to get that place. They're just wetting the whistle a little bit.
You're talking about blowjobs.
Definitely BGs. I really like Oliva as a brand because of the Oliva V Milanio. I think their other stuff is good.
Yeah.
But that cigar is, I think, in many regards, so far above and beyond the rest of their lineup that I don't even consider smoking a G. I don't consider smoking anything else in their lineup. If I'm going to smoke an Oliva, it's the Oliva V Milanio. I don't care which Vitola. There are some Vitolas that are better than others, but that's what I'm going for.
What's strange is there's other Oliva Vs. Mm-hmm. And we've had our fair share of those in the past. Not often, but sporadically. And it was weird when you had the Milanio, because I believe that's one we reviewed.
Yeah, we did. Yep. Oliva V Milanio. Yep.
I don't know what made that so profoundly different in my head than the other Oliva Vs that I've had in the past, but there is something weird, like dude, weirdly magical.
The Oliva V Milanio is
something weirdly magical about that one.
It's an insanely good cigar. If you are somebody who loves smoking cigars, if you're a beginner listening to this, I don't know that you could appreciate it as much, hopefully long term that you do. But when I talk about this, I know there's people listening right now going, I totally get what he's fucking saying. Because that cigar has an element of something else that just makes it stand just above the rest. And I get it. As much as I disagree with Cigar Aficionado and most of the stuff that they do, I kind of get why the Oliva V Milanio and different Vitolas and whatever that keeps getting in the top 25. I get why it sits there. Because to me, it is that good. It's a fucking great cigar. The brand as a whole, though, I think in totality is a bit subpar. But that one cigar props up the rest of the brand.
Yeah.
The association of greatness in terms of Oliva does not come at the other subsets of cigars. It comes from the Oliva V Milanio. Mm-hmm. That's what people recognize the brand for. So I think that particular cigar elevates the rest of the brand. I think the rest of the brand is whatever. It's so
well, I don't think they really have pretentious pricing either. Like they have pretty accommodating prices.
Yeah, dude. I mean, even the Oliva V Milanios, even some of those crazy Vitolas, the Figurado Vitolas, like they're very reasonable. Like it's not anything outlandish. Yeah. It's not unacceptable at all in the marketplace. And they sell a fuck ton of them.
Yeah.
Dude, Oliva's on every shelf. Every fucking shelf. So they're doing something right. They're fucking selling. The only thing I have a problem with Oliva is there's not enough diversity in their portfolio. For me, at least, I would like to see some different. I would love to see something challenge the Oliva V Milanio. I wish Oliva would concentrate on a cigar and says, you know what? We're taking this one. This one's no longer in consideration for a top 25. This is our fucking new blend that is going to outpace the Oliva V Milanio. But if you are Oliva, why would you cannibalize the greatness that you've already created?
Sure.
In my head, that's kind of where I'm thinking. Like, but dude, if I was them, and this is just me, I'd be like, not that we're sunsetting the Oliva V Milanio. We're just going to try to create something that levels up a little bit. Yeah. I think that would be really cool.
The Milanio, no one should leave it on the shelf.
So where do you think they fall in terms of overrated, underrated, or adequate for the space?
I think they're adequate. Like, there's never been a time where I've felt like they were an overpriced cigar, even when I wasn't really into them. You know, I've never felt like they didn't have a place, or that they were too pretentious, or that they were boasting some greatness to a cigar that wasn't worth the price. I've never felt that about them. I feel like they've stayed in their lane, pretty well. But it is no doubt that the Milanio is that is kind of like I feel like their recent achievement.
It creates the bell curve for the rest of the brand.
Yeah, it really does. I think
it ups the average.
I think they're adequate. Maybe this is a boring episode at this point, but I feel like it's an adequate brand.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're adequate for the space for sure. And I think it's all on the shoulders of the Oliva V Milanio, which is an exceptional cigar for sure. All right, let's move on. Let's see what we got.
Please not Decrossier.
This may be the last one that we do.
No.
Oh!
It still came back around. That's fine.
Damn.
Came back around.
Dude, there's a lot in here that's just fucking different, right? Like, this is kind of crazy. So next up on the list is Curivari. Now, Curivari is a weird brand. It's a weird brand, one, because it's not necessarily...
Have you heard of it?
It's not all that recognizable. There's a lot of people who have no idea what Curivari is, but for the people that do...
You're like, oof.
They know how good it is. The Buenaventura, that's all I got to say. That cigar is fucking unreal for the money. It's such a good cigar for $7.
You get a box press Toro for $7.
I think I've had the majority of what's in the Curivari line, and I've got to give a shout out to B&G's, which is our home base humidor. That's our home base B&M. They carried the Curivari line very early on, and it is, I think, probably still undoubtedly their most successful line that they sell. They push it really hard, and they push it hard for a reason. One, I think the value proposition in the Curivari line as a whole is one of which is hard to beat. Yeah. It's very inexpensive cigars for really good output of flavors, great construction, great quality. Curivari, where I think they lack is just they're not as well known. Yeah, I know they don't do a lot of branding. They don't do a lot of marketing. You don't see them out in the world. I don't even know who their fucking owner is. Let's get them on the podcast. Let's shuffle them into the mix of everything else. Curivari cigars are exceptional fucking cigars. The Buenaventura is the first one I had. I had it when I was in Chicago. One of the guys who manages one of the humidors that I go to in Chicago, hope I'm going to get there in a few weeks. I'm really excited to go back because they actually revitalized the whole place, and I haven't been there since. I've been there in 2 years, so I'll go there May 2nd. I'm really excited about it. He actually is the one that turned me on to him. He was like, if you've not had the Curivari stuff, specifically Buenaventura, try it. Let me know what you think. Like, I always get a good hook up there. They're fucking great people. So he gave me that cigar, and I smoked it, and I was like, dude, for $7, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is incredible. And then that got me hooked on everything else. And I haven't really smoked a cigar I didn't like from Curivari.
No.
There's not one that I've had where I've been disappointed. Their construction on their cigars, almost flawless. Like, nearly flawless. Very, very good cigars. Great for the money. Relatively unknown brand for a lot. You probably recognize the name, but you probably not smoked a lot of their cigars. If you're a beginner cigar smoker, you have no idea who the fuck they are. You have no clue. You have no clue who they are, and that's fine. That's what we're here to expose. As a whole, super underrated.
Yeah.
I give them super underrated because I really, really like their stuff. I still smoke it all the time with everything else that we get and all the stuff that comes flooding to the fucking front door for us to try and for us to review and to go over and to talk about and all that. I still find myself picking up Curivaris when I go to the B&M.
I have no doubt. And I'm the same way. Listen, for everybody out there listening to this one, we're all in the same boat. You know, the thing is like, there's only so many brands you can still spend money on when your wife is, you just paid for a recent boob job and plastic surgery.
Amen.
And still want to smoke a cigar.
Hallelujah.
Dude, for all of us that are out there struggling with this financial crisis that we deal with in our life, the price point is so good on a Curivari that not only can you fucking pay for that boob job, but plastic surgery as well on top of it to make your...
It's no excuse not to smoke.
When you won't be honest with your wife and tell her she's going to start looking like Jack Nicholson's Joker. But you could still go to your local humidor and afford a Curivari.
It's true.
What a sweet deal that is.
It is true.
You're
you
happy.
Really can.
Your wife's happy. It's perfect.
They're really pocket change cigars.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
And really high quality for the money. I mean,
sure.
Exceptional quality for the money. I'm just a huge Curivari fan as a whole. I wish they were bigger in the industry, but it's kind of nice to have some of those like hidden gems, you know? They're not everywhere. You're not going to find them in every humidor. People are going to hear this. I swear people are going to hear this right now and go,
what the fuck's a Curivari?
What's a Curivari? I'm telling you right now, they are very, very, very exceptional cigars. Very underrated. I think this is a good time to stop. Because I feel like we're going to get a brand we don't want to talk about next. Sharks. No, I think it's good. I think it's good to end there. I'm glad we got a chance to do another overrated, underrated. It's been a while since we've done one. Mm-hmm. And I'm always looking, this one super not controversial at all. Like we didn't really have any hot takes on any one of these.
Yeah.
More just passion around what I would say is 3 out of the 4 very exceptional brands, and one of which I admire to the utmost. So it's kind of like, you know, we didn't get to talk about ones where they're a little more unfavorable, and I could probably hit the spinny wheel one more time. I bet we'd find one, but we're running out of time. So
and we just end on a low note.
Yeah, just bring the whole thing down. No, Curivari I think is good to end on simply for the fact that it's like, okay, well now we can bring some attention to it and maybe get, spark people's curiosity around the brand overall.
Why does the name sound like a religious cult who believes in like curing people through miracles?
Yeah.
Like
the
Curivari.
Yeah. Oh, it does. It's
Doesn't
very culty.
Doesn't it sound very culty?
Yeah, very underground.
Could be actually.
They very well.
I've never looked into the name. Yeah. I don't know who these owners are.
They're like the enemy. They're the enemy of like Harriman Solomon.
Right. Oh, they're like the Antichrist of Masons.
Crazy. Yeah, the Curivari.
Does Masons have Antichrist?
I don't think they're not even Christ driven.
No, they're not.
They're a non-religious organization.
What
so they say.
What is evil?
What the fuck that says?
What is the antithesis of what evil means for a Mason? What does that look like?
I don't know. It wouldn't be the devil.
A pool builder? I'm trying to understand, like, and what is the opposite of a Mason?
A lazy person?
A hut builder? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I feel like they have no enemies.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's weird. I don't know. I don't know either. They're builders. Everybody loves them.
These are the questions of life.
Yeah, that's true. That's what we're answering right here on the Hot Ticket Podcast.
So profound for a cigar podcast. Have you tuned into this fucking cigar podcast? They are the most intellectual, profound, philosophical people I've ever listened to.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get those remarks. I'm speculating. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, we got a chance to interview Omar de Frias of Fratello Cigars, and that was a really fun interview. It was one of the ones that I think I've enjoyed. We always have good interviews. It's not that I haven't enjoyed it. So we haven't done an interview in a while, and he's such a likable guy.
Yeah.
He's such a likable, genuine guy. And that's kind of the feedback I got from everybody else. Some people sent me messages like, that interview was really good. He seems like such a cool dude. And he really does. Hopefully you meet him in person. He's not a complete dickwad. But that was a lot of fun. I really had a good time with that interview. So if you haven't listened to it, make sure you check that one out. I think you'll like it. It's very good. He's super insightful for being a guy who has been passionate about cigars for a long time, but really has only been in the cigar world since like 2013-ish.
He is
relatively young.
He is one of those, in inspiring stories of someone who had what many would call a great life.
Yep.
And decided that's not what made him the most happy. And
Yeah.
he tossed it away to chase his own passions. Like that's ostensibly what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Great story.
It's exactly what it is. So yeah, check out that interview if you have not listened to it or watched it yet. I think you guys will enjoy it. But with that, let's conclude this episode. I think this is 238. It is 238. Chugging right along. By the way, next week's episode will actually mark our 5-year anniversary.
Really?
Which is nutso. Yeah, 5 years next week.
Wow.
5 years next week, which is nuts. Can't believe this thing's still fucking going. Who would have thunk it? Anyway,
We
that will
haven't been cancel
conclude.
cultured.
Not yet. We're likely going to get there eventually. So thank you for listening. This is episode 238. We'll be back at you next week with episode 239. See you, everyone.
Leave your jobs.